Hey everybody, welcome back to Executive Nomad Podcast. Today, I'd like to welcome Mike Pell to the show. Mike
It
works
is.
at
It's funny you
Microsoft.
said
Mike,
backlog.
welcome to the show. Glad to
You
have you
said
here.
in
So,
Microsoft
Mike,
that
you
was
work at,
never
I'm
going to
sure
have a
everyone's
day a
heard of
week
it,
to do whatever they wanted.
Microsoft. Tell us what
We
you're doing
can't
over
even have. We had to find a different way to sort of get this into the water, and the way we did it was when our CEO Satya Nadella took over a little over 10 years ago. He wanted an experiment of hacking. He had just learned about growth hacking and hackathons, and so we put together a global hackathon to see what people would do within just a few days. If you sort of turn them loose to do whatever they wanted, it was a pretty clear
I'm
signal that
fascinated by
people
that
wanted to
because I
bring
know
their
when
ideas
you and
to
I
work. They
spoke
wanted
before,
to
you were
band
telling me
with people that they
that.
never had
I
worked
didn't
with before.
realize
That had
that.
very
I know
different
Google has,
backgrounds,
for example,
and it's a
these
very
these
magical
sort of
time. And
idea
so to this
stations.
day,
But it's
that
fascinating
spirit
too
still
because it's not what
continues of
everybody sees in
curiosity
corporate.
and
Have you had
experimentation and
experience with other companies who
wanting
sort
to
of
be able to see,
that thought it was quite
what
an
can we do
alien,
when we collaborate and work with people that have, crazy different ideas than we do. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Very well documented. Microsoft was very siloed way back when. We didn't like to cooperate with each other. I've been at the for over 20 years. So uh, we, um, we were very competitive. So Satya really wanted to change the culture to be more collaborative and cooperative, and again, curious, just trying to find people in different parts of the company, different parts of the world who could help to move ideas forward
Mm.
and really get a much better result. So yeah, to this day, we continue to be highly collaborative, which has been really good for us. I mean, honestly, name any product that Microsoft has worked on in the last, 5 to 8 years. And it's a result of a high degree of collaboration across divisional boundaries, across team boundaries. We have to work that way now. Not the
fascinating.
hard way.
And was this
That being
people
siloed
were
was
mixing
just
with
not going to scale. It's not
colleagues
going to
from
work for us
other
going forward.
departments, other offices,
So just about
etc.?
everything we
What was
do
the
has been
yeah?
done in that way. Well, I think, in your travels, I'm sure you've seen the same thing. Just about every single major company, and I get to see them all at the garage. They all, our top customers come through all the time. We get to work with C-suites and business leaders, and they all have innovation teams, or they have a chief innovation person, or they're doing, they're doing the work to try to be more agile, more quick, more creative. And the problem is that their cultures don't always support it. If you're in a highly regulated
Is
insurance
there
or
anything, any products, any
even medicine
services that we
or
would
big
know
pharma
that
for
have
that
come out
matter,
of that,
it's difficult to
out of
truly
those
innovate. And so they're sort
enterprise
of stuck
conversations
in the
and
way that
those
their machine has
these
been
guys getting their
designed.
heads together?
And you get a lot of what I call innovation theater happening, them going through the paces and the steps, but it doesn't really result in what you would call true breakthroughs or innovations. Intellectual key. And now with the rise of vibe coding and coding agents, it's getting even easier for anybody, to sort of dip their toe in and try things out, as opposed to developing a bug, or coming up with an entirely new,
Mm.
system to do something in an industry that's highly specialized. It's not always easy to do that. I think people do have the desire. It's certainly executives who are working in these companies that are transforming or transform themselves understand that they have to try to do it differently. But AI itself, of course, is not the only answer. It really lies more on the people side, which is why it's so interesting to talk to you about the changing nature of the workplace. How people, certainly we all in the pandemic had to learn to work remotely. It's funny, Microsoft
Mm.
really didn't miss a beat during the pandemic because we had already for years working that way. There was always
I think that's
some part of the
because
world that was in a
Microsoft,
meeting,
obviously, they're
that just wasn't
software
ever going to
company
be there in
primarily.
person. And so we were sort
That
of used to
allows for
working
more
in that way.
innovation,
But for a
more
lot of
trial and error,
people, it
more
was a big
just
shift
throwing things out
and
there. Yeah.
continues to it's happened in the world and in business. I think it's going to accelerate even further.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Mm, mm.
Yeah. And I think, many of the executives who you work with and interview and chat with, I'm sure have developed habits, that were formed during COVID for how to conduct themselves remotely, or a
This
stack
has
of
now
books or
become
whatever
the
you have
normal way and
around
the
you,
preferred
to,
way.
to put the
All the
computer up
stuff I
higher
read on
so the
LinkedIn,
camera's at eye
so many
level.
people,
Like all
it doesn't
tricks
work
that we
for every
had to
corporation
learn
and every
to be
sector, but
better
for so
remote
many people, if you can
partners and
do it,
teammates, I think
productivity,
are
to my mind,
continuing
goes
to
up,
this
not
day.
down, because you've got your own environment. So I really think this is the future business. I mean, I've got all of my lighting, all of my cameras, all of my microphone around me. Great. And I think
Executives who
that
have been
there
this for a
will
very
be
long
a
time,
made by
even though they
humans
have that domain
too.
expertise,
So
the people first part
I
to
think so. It's
amplify that
interesting.
digital workers and coworkers being able to do, the stuff that we were doing before. And if you're a marketer, right, someone may say, well, why should I hire you to do my marketing when I can get an agent to do it practically for free? And, we know the answer, right? It's because the computer is a computer, right? It's not some, it doesn't have emotions and feelings and experience and be able to sense and nuance in the way that people do.
Hmm.
That's sort of the battle that we're heading into, right?
Where do you find yourself? You're untethered if you leave a corporation anyway. Then you get back into consulting, coaching, mentoring, that kind of stuff. I freeing up time
Mhm.
to
Well,
think of
that's the
new
way it
things.
should. I'm going to say to these
Absolutely.
things, as an expert, but you should at least understand what other people are doing. We're all
They
creatures of habit
adopting it.
to a certain degree, right? Nobody likes to learn anything new. We have our ways of things, and unless we're really pushed, we probably won't change our behavior. And some people just aren't. They're expecting that their partners and their staff and their coaches are going to be doing all that, and maybe they don't have to. But the truth is, they have to. They have to. I mean, even in very small ways, even just downloading, Copilot or ChatGPT or Claude or whatever your favorite thing is, just start using it, talk to it, have it try to do small things for you. We all have to at least understand what the capabilities are so we can make intelligent decisions about what to do, in certain situations and going forward. In general, I always tell people, don't ask your team to go spin up some giant AI project because it's not possible to say, right? I mean, that's the beautiful thing about the technology industry is every day is a new day.
Hmm. I think the advantage here is that somebody who's leaving corporate and who does have an understanding of it, a little bit beyond just asking it to send an email or review a document, you can step into running a consultancy, a coaching business, or whatever it is you decide to do, and you don't have any of that stuff. You've got to work it all out yourself. All of a sudden, you go from having a team around you, behind the corporate badge, to just being you. There's plenty of places to go now online and get those agents to take care of it for you. A lot of people think they're too old for it as well.
With what we have been for the last decade, which is how do we do more with less? How do we go faster? How do we be better at what we do? And technology has been an accelerator and it's been something that's helped, to do some of that. That says maybe I can let, even the patient making has been quickened. So, it's dealing with the same thing. How do we do more with less, go further, faster? But how do we do it in a very cost efficient way? And that's what leads to the conversation about AI and machine learning agents and so. I like to joke that I'm from it's hard to tell. I'm a big fan of Ray
How do you see
Kurzweil
it
and
in 10 years
what
from
he
now?
about the acceleration. So we're sort of in the very exponential part of that curve and it's faster and faster. And it's hard to imagine, but innovation and change is happening at an exponential pace, even faster than anybody could have imagined. So hard to understand where we'll be in 10 years, given where we've been in the last 3 years, right? Since the introduction of ChatGPT burst into the scene, it changed around that. And here we are in a
Mm.
very different place. So now, multiply that times, 3, 4 times and who knows where we're going to be. But I think, as you said earlier, there will be a place for people always. I'm a big in that. But the onus is on us individually. No one's going to come to help you and save you, right? You have to figure out what you're
Yeah.
great at and reel down on that. And that's sort of the path forward for all of us.
Yeah.
So I have
Mike,
many years of experience doing all that. Now is the best, believe it or not, to go off and do your own thing because of all the technologies. You can go from idea to working prototype in no time with vibe coding. It's so easy to go find funding sources, meaning maybe not landing your deals, but where do I look? Who do I talk to? How do I approach it? There's so much help available by using these AI systems as collaborators. Successful doing what use old playbook. Like
yeah,
you just
yeah, can't.
but, I actually do think it's easier to do your own.
I had a great, I was talking to somebody, that's relationship building. That's, so I'm being, yes, I was, funny enough, I did walk up into the forest this morning while my Claude was doing some outreach for me, because I've had virtual assistants. I do feel there's a double-edged sword, right? Because they've actually
Yeah,
got two
there's that too.
opportunities than they had as a VA. So I say that to them, go into shy.
Let's get some
It's everything.
sitting.
So, no,
Okay.
it's a pleasure for me
All
too.
right, perfect. Okay.